Hey everybody, welcome to Love and Reload, the voice of the relocation industry. I'm your host, Ben Cross. I'm so blessed and honored to be here today with my good friend, Jeff Smith, business development at Move Concierge.
That's right, Move Concierge. Nice to be here, Ben.
It's good to have you here, Jeff, in Texas, in Dallas, in the office here, face to face.
Yep.
Yeah, you flew all the way from where?
New Orleans. Came in Monday night or Monday morning, and here for the whole week. So we've got to, we got to get into something.
I'm excited. I got my wife and kids have been gone for a month.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I'm barely making it right now, but they're coming back tonight.
Oh, so you have
so I got one dinner left.
Right. That's it.
This is it.
Yeah. You don't have to pick them up from the airport or nothing. You just
we're talking about Uber. They always make me Uber, right? Yeah. I mean, turnabout is fair play. That's Shakespeare. Get in the comments here. Let me know who you are, where you are, what the heck's going on, what's the weather like. If I should pick my kids up from the airport, get in the comments here. I want your opinions. We'll be live responding to you as well. But I got one more dinner. I'm gonna make it count tonight.
Yeah, we should do it.
Maybe I'll take you to like Papados or Razoo's or something.
Papados.
Let's some New Orleans.
Yeah.
All right, hit that like button, get in the comments, y'all. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about a lot of stuff. We're gonna be talking about real estate trends because you talk to a lot of people in this business.
Yeah, tons of realtors, and it's kind of a weird time in the market, honestly. For like prices are kind of staying steady, but the number of homes that are being sold is like record low. And inventory is also at an all-time high. So that's kind of some weird stuff going on. Normally when there's a lot of inventory, prices will start to go down because buyers have options.
Right.
But that's not happening. Prices are kind of staying high and inventory is also staying high and not very many homes are being sold. So it's kind of a weird thing going on.
Inventory's high, but prices are staying high. Why? How is that? We got people checking in here real quick before we get into that. Jillian Guzda, hey Jeff, always lovely to see you.
Oh, nice.
You got fans here.
Man, yeah, I know. Thank you. I'm so honored and blessed.
Blessed and honored.
Blessed and honored.
There's a syntax there. Blessed and honored. Farrell Elliott checking in from hot NorCal. I feel like it's been hotter on the coasts than it's even been here in Texas recently.
We were just, where were we? We were in Chicago. So still right up the middle, but man, it was hot. It was hot in Chicago.
Yeah, New York's been crazy. DC's been crazy.
Yeah, I don't even feel like New Orleans has been that bad. I mean, compared to like what New Orleans can normally be, it's been fine. But Chicago was terrible when we were there just last week.
Yeah, Farrell says Uber when you are alone is okay, but you should pick up your family. Looking forward to this conversation. You're right, Farrell. I just want to make her sweat a little bit. I'll be there, Farrell. I'll be there. 10:30 at night tonight. I'll be there, Farrell. With bells on. Farrell says 102 today in Northern California.
Dang. Like Sacramento or like,
Yeah, we're at Farrell. I think she's like north of the bay. Put it in there. 92. What's that? We're at 92 right now? Producer Sam, he says we're at 92 degrees. That's like spring-like.
Right. Exactly.
It hasn't hit 100 yet here in Dallas.
I know. Yeah. There's a weird thing going on with the weather right now. Or some places that are normally more temperate or are really getting it. But Texas, New Orleans, we're doing great.
We're usually at over 100 degrees right now for days on end and no rain and a drought. And we've been having flood conditions. You guys have heard about those tragic floods down in central Texas. And it's just been raining like crazy for the last couple months. So anyway, it's just been really weird. Weather's crazy. Evan checking in. Get in the comments, y'all. Hit that like button. Evan saying, hey, Jeff, welcome to Glomo HQ. Is this your first time here, Jeff?
I came here one time and I beat you at that basketball game that's in the other room. That's a lie. I lost really badly. But no, I've been here a couple of times.
All right.
Maybe a rematch.
Yeah, we might have to run it back. Let's get into it. We're going to talk about Move Concierge and what it does. I'm a big fan. I'm actually a customer, two-time customer of Move Concierge. I love the service. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about the real estate market. We'll talk a little bit about kind of the relocation aspect as well. And then we got a really fun, overrated, underrated at the end. So stay tuned because we're going to throw Jeff a couple of curveballs.
I'm ready for him.
We'll see if you can hit the curve, my friend.
Yep.
All right. Let's see here. We were talking a little bit about real estate. You travel a lot. You go to a lot of realtor conventions. You were saying this year's kind of weird. You mentioned having a lot of inventory, but prices are staying high. Why is that?
A lot of theories out there about why that's happening. There's this kind of lock-in effect, I think, for a lot of people that maybe normally might have bought a house, opted to switch out their house for there, but they have a really low interest rate.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of unwilling to give that up. That's kind of one effect that I think could be having an impact. There's also sort of this uncertainty maybe about the market. Inflation was going down, now it's kind of going up a little bit. Some people are afraid of like what the tariffs might do to the macro economy.
That's super valid too, because I think a Canadian tariff was just re-announced.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the August 1st maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy, can you check that so I'm not totally lying? At least
Definitely
I want to just pretend to have some diligence here.
Right.
But I think it was like 35% on Canada August 1st. Check that.
Mm-hmm.
And see if that pertains to lumber. Because if it does,
Yeah.
that would explain a lot too about the forecasted price of building.
And when I was just at this conference, they were talking about, how that uncertainty, it has this trickle down effect into like employers maybe who are doing relocations.
Yeah.
The employers can't really figure out how their business is going to be impacted maybe by tariffs. And so they're not hiring people or moving as many people around the country as they might otherwise have done, because they're not certain how the cards are going to fall just yet. And so it feels like there's a confluence of many things that are causing the issue. But, it's just kind of a weird market. I've been in real estate for the last, 10, 15 years, and that's through like the recession around,
Yeah. Is this the weirdest time or?
I mean, from that conference that I was staying at, there were people that were way more experienced than I have been. A guy who was in New Orleans during Katrina, he's been through that market.
Oh my gosh.
And he was saying like, this is one of the toughest markets that he's been in, especially for relocation, because you're dealing with all those normal factors of real estate, but also the macroeconomic uncertainty is having this impact with how many companies are relocating their people as well. And so it is just this weird, they feel like they're getting hit from every direction right now in terms of the volume of homes that they're able to sell.
Yeah, that's interesting. Is that the Relocation Directors Council meeting?
Yeah, the RDC relocation directors, they have some really great panelists of, not just people in the real estate industry, but people in the corporate side of things. I think they had a ERC, person there, and just several different sort of perspectives. And they were kind of, I don't want to say negative, but they were definitely universally just, tentative and sort of concerned or uncertain about the market. And it was kind of eye-opening for me, because I was aware of some of the things, but then when you like line them all up, it was kind of like, well, guys, man, is there anything good going on? And yeah.
Shout out to the RDC. We've got a lot of friends of the show from the RDC. Y'all doing spring conferences? Let me know. I'll come through. I'll drive down to Austin, show you guys some love. Shout out to RDC. Sammy, you did some research on the tariffs.
35% tariffs are going to be put on Canadian imports starting August 1st.
Wow, I nailed that. Nailed it. You think I researched this?
He listens to NPR every morning.
Yeah, I get it from Instagram. So 35% Canadian imports starting August 1st. Is lumber included in that?
Lumber was at 50%.
Lumber's at 50%?
Yeah, from what I said.
Dang. Canadian trees under fire.
That's rough.
Yeah. So I can imagine people are thinking the cost to build and replace those homes is going to be high, so they're going to keep the price high on that stuff. Yeah, it's super interesting too. My heart really goes out for my realtor friends too, or realtor. I always add that realtor, realtor friends. Because the year started, we're talking about the commissions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another thing I forgot to mention. Yeah,
it's like they can't win.
Right, you got the commission changes, and the changes to way buyers have to deal with their buyers agents have to deal with their clients. So they got hit with that, and then there's this expectation. I feel like everybody had that the interest rates were going to go down, and then that didn't happen. And then there was kind of some extra uncertainty sprinkled in that had some other effects of less people are relocating and maybe jobs aren't hiring quite as much, weakened the labor market just a little bit. And that uncertainty just kind of, I think, bled into the housing market of, how a person feels of, can I really buy a different house right now? Because I don't know about my job, or I don't know what inflation's going to do, or I thought interest rates might be a little bit better and I've got a great interest rate. I don't want to give it up.
Well, the affordability, and hey, shout out to Anne Della Victoria from France in the house. Francais in the house. Yeah, what's up, Anne? And shout out to my Paris Musketeers out there. It took a tough L this weekend to the Rhine. I think it was Rhine. Or no, it was Vienna. They lost to Vienna. Anyway, sorry.
Just rub it in. I mean, yeah, it's like who they lose to.
Sorry, it's Vienna. Yeah. All the teams they lost, there's L's they took this year. No, shout out to my friend Hosea, actually, who Hosea turned 60. Hosea Botley, where you at? Turned 60 today. He's over there in Europe right now. He's a part owner of the Paris Musketeers. But yeah, it's really interesting what's going on right now in the space. But what are the silver linings? I mean, is anybody looking towards anything right now? Any positivity, optimism?
I think anytime there's a lot of upheaval or change or things that are happening, it's always presents an opportunity. When you look back at like the recession, it was a really great opportunity. If you had capital to buy homes, you were buying those homes at an all-time low, and a lot of those people, cashed out, made tons of money. And so anytime there's some kind of upheaval or big change, there's an opportunity to look at it and kind of examine what you could be doing differently to set yourself apart from your competition. Because when times get challenging, that's when you gain market share. Like that's when you can actually gain a group of people maybe that you didn't work with before, or find a different way to leverage your business or pivot, or however you want to term it. There's just an opportunity there. And
that's a really good point you bring up there. And I want to touch on that because you're right. A lot of folks got into real estate a few years ago when it was a boom time.
Right.
And everyone went out and got their real estate license, and, everybody's mom's a realtor, realtor. And now you look at the contraction that's happening, and that's going to thin out a lot of that competition.
Yeah.
And when the transactions start coming back, which I do think is probably just maybe a point of mortgage interest rate away, you're going to see, I think, transactions spike. It's going to happen quickly, and your market share is going to go way up.
Absolutely. And I mean, anytime, there's got to be pent up demand that's happening. Like people who are thinking, I don't want to move because my interest rate's really good. That's the reason that's holding them back, is their interest rate. And as soon as that one thing changes, all that demand that's been kind of piling up of all of those people who are just waiting for interest rates to change, it's going to drop. And then you're going to have, this influx of people who are going to exercise that demand, buy homes. And if you positioned yourself well right now, then you're going to be in a position to just take advantage of that, that increased demand that's going to happen. So
yeah, I agree. And I'm seeing, and we're hearing from our relocation management clients that people are moving, they have a home sale benefit, and they're not exercising that benefit. They're choosing instead to keep the house at their previous origin or whatever, where they came from, and rent it or do something else with Airbnb or whatever. And I think that over time, those houses, I mean, you talk about pent up demand, could come into play. It's just, when affordability comes back in the market.
Well, definitely. And those people who are holding on to those homes may be holding on to those homes because, like you said, they haven't bought, the new house. They might be, they might be holding on to that house, but when they release it, it's going to create two transactions, right? They're going to sell that house so they can buy another house. And so I do think that there's going to be this kind of, a tack on effect once that demand starts kicking in. More homes are going to be on the market. It's going to attract even more buyers that maybe they weren't holding back just because of the interest rate, but there's so many homes that are on the market, they just feel like it's a good time to buy. Like there's so many millennials out there that like have this dream of home ownership.
Yeah.
And if they feel like it's a good time to buy and they're able to do it, then they will. And I think that low interest rates helps with that. Inventory and options helps with that. And so, there's always a silver lining. There's always, the sun will rise again, I'm sure. But right now, it does kind of feel, it feels difficult, feels like a difficult market. And to me, this is the time to start positioning yourself because, like I said, the sun is going to rise again. You got to be ready for it, though. Otherwise, somebody else will take that market share.
100%. And those are two lessons we learned from COVID. We learned one, the whole concept of pent-up demand, and the fact that things are building behind the scenes, even when we're not seeing them in the moment. Things are building demand is building behind the scenes. And two, when the dam breaks, when the faucet is turned on, you better be ready with a bucket. Mm-hmm. Because it's going to come hot and heavy. And what happened in 2020 and 2021, when people started, coming out of, being totally sequestered and started making transactions and making things happen, we as an industry were kind of ill prepared. Mm-hmm. I always say it was like going from off-season football to mid-season form. Mm-hmm. Overnight, and we just skip preseason and the buildup that usually happens in March, where people start kind of like, all right, let's dust the cobwebs off here and get after it a little bit. We went from basically January to June overnight. It felt like, mm-hmm. From a volume standpoint, and so I agree with you. I think stay vigilant. If we haven't learned anything from COVID, stay vigilant. It is coming. I did see a headline actually recently that mortgage interest rates may be coming down, which I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah, I've heard similar, which, I don't want to put too much stock into it because it's definitely all speculation. No one knows for sure, but it does feel like they're about to come down. And I do think a lot of people are waiting on the sidelines because they just feel like interest rates are too high right now. They don't want to sell their house because they got a good interest rate, so they're just holding on to everything. And so I do think that will kind of be the first pebble, that gets things rolling downhill, and hopefully that'll just snowball eventually into, releasing that pent-up demand that's in there.
You talked about millennials and the dream of home ownership, and you and I are similar age, I think. What advice would you give to somebody who is dreaming of home ownership or wants to kind of get in the market? Is now a good time to buy, in your opinion?
I mean, yeah, I think so. For one reason, there's a lot of inventory out there. If you remember,
a lot to choose from.
Yeah, if you were thinking back during COVID, that was a big problem for everybody. You found a house that you liked, you better put an offer in it the day it came out.
Oh, especially in North Texas, those people were getting 30, 40, 50 offers.
Right. Nuts. I mean, that's a tough position, especially for a first-time home buyer, but just for anybody if you're a home buyer when you're in an environment like that. But when you have more inventory out there, first of all, you don't have to be as you don't have to just make do with something that you don't want. So you got a lot more options. And there's a pretty, big saying: you marry the house and you date the mortgage.
Oh man, you took it out of my. Yeah. You want to date the rate, maybe? Yeah, it's great. It's right. And I think right now is a great time to marry a house. To use
you have a big, you have a big pool of people. You have a lot of fish out in the sea right now.
Prices are somewhat soft. While the prices haven't come down tremendously, I will tell you because I just bought a house last August. You do have more negotiating power.
Definitely.
So I got a ton of concessions when I bought my house.
Mm-hmm.
I bought my house and I got, I think they max your concessions at something like 1%,
right?
Or some number, right? And but I got full concessions, and I actually used it mm-hmm. towards my interest rate to mm-hmm. buy down my rate.
Yeah.
Especially in it was a 2-year. It was a first year was 2 points maybe, and the second year was a point or something,
mm-hmm.
and it was only a concession that the seller could fund.
Right.
The buyer couldn't fund the concession.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I had leverage in the deal because frankly, the house had been on the market for, 30, 45 days, I think it was.
And that's another thing is that the sellers, for the previous history, the last 5 years or so, sellers have been in control of the market. And so they do get really antsy once their house has been on the market for 6 months. They're like, this is weird. And they start to get uncertain, and they are willing to do a little bit more. They are willing to give more concessions. And so even though the price on the MLS or on Zillow might be higher, it is soft. And so you can negotiate it down, and you can get some things that in a more hot market you might not be able to do. And you have all these options. So there's definitely some good factors that buyers can take advantage of if they are looking to enter the market right now. And look, mortgage rates, eventually they will come down. And when that happens, you can refinance, take advantage of those lower interest rates. And so it is good. You do have to have, the capital for the down payment. That's going to be, I think, a big barrier for a lot of millennials, just having enough money to be able to buy it. But if you can overcome that barrier, I wouldn't be too concerned about the interest rates. That's not a thing that you have to live with forever. You might have to live with it for a couple of years, then you can refinance. And hopefully at that point, the market's kind of picked up a little and your equity is way more than paying for whatever extra you had to pay in interest rates.
I love that. And you don't have to put 20% down either.
No, right? You can do 3.5% on a HSA or even a conventional one. I think you get for 5% down.
Yeah. So you put that lesser percent down, and to your point, Jeff, when you go to refi, you now have all this equity. Because I do think what's going to happen is when mortgage rates come down, and get in the comments here if you have thoughts about what's going on in the real estate market or how it pertains to the relocation market. I want to hear your thoughts. I see some folks checking in there. So get in the comments. I want to hear from you. Hit that like button as well. Get in the conversation. But as soon as those mortgage rates come down, people are going to flood the market. They're going to rush into the buyers are going to rush into the market.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, boom, we're going to have this frenzy again.
Well,
so while prices feel high now, they're going to jump.
Well, and the things that will cause the mortgage rates to come down, they're also the cause of some of those other reasons that demand is being pent up right now. Like mortgage rates will come down as things settle in the macroeconomic market, which is why other things aren't happening, right? It's why some corporate entities aren't relocating their people, is because their business hasn't settled. And so when mortgage rates come down, it's going to indicate that most of those other things are also becoming a little bit more solid. And so you have this tack-on effect where it's not just mortgage rates are better and therefore homes are easier to buy, but it also means that probably the economy is settling, or, at least people are feeling secure in it. It means that, it's just an indicator of some of these other things that will also be happening at the same time. And so it's not just the mortgage rates that's going to cause a flood of buyers, but it's also, mortgage rates going down indicates some of the other stuff that's going to cause more buyers to enter the market. Yeah,
hit that, do that L real quick next to you. There you go, to get that thing zoomed in. There you go. Super interesting dynamics. So I think now's a really good time to buy. I think especially if you're in a hot area like North Texas. I mean, I think it's just going to continue to go up. Values are going to continue to go up. I do think it's interesting as we kind of talk now about the relocation environment, and you were talking about the Relocation Directors Council. And it's interesting right now because in the news, we're hearing these large employers like Amazon and Walmart and some of these big ones who are calling their workforce into either headquarters or regional offices.
Right.
And yet we're not quite seeing that volume pick up like we would in a traditional peak season.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of relocation management companies are saying, kind of anecdotally here, maybe they're all 30% from where they were last year.
Right.
What are you hearing out there?
Well, one of the things that they mentioned at the panel at RDC was actually something I hadn't even thought about, but it was actually immigration. That was, the market is already set up to sort of incentivize employers to hire a local employee if they can.
Oh, yeah.
But, the current administration was making it even harder, to get somebody who might come from overseas. And that had almost ground those relocations to a halt, and it's not because they just want a Japanese engineer.
Yeah.
It's because they can't find an engineer in the United States, or they can't find one at the market rate that they want to, or whatever it is. And that was a big impact on the relocation. It was immigration, which I didn't even consider, was a sector of the relocation market that was specifically being like super impacted.
Oh yeah, there's such a high percentage of relocating employees are foreign nationals, are here on a visa,
right?
And those folks, frankly, even if it's not a relocation from Japan to Detroit, maybe they're in Detroit already, and now it's time to move them to Dallas, to work at Toyota's headquarters, or move them, up to Cincinnati to work for Honda, or whatever, whatever it is. And now they're moving along and around, and on rotationary basis. And there's just a lot of folks that are being moved around like that. And so when these folks are being pushed out now and they're leaving, that's gonna really, I think, near term, that's gonna really take the wind out of the sails of the relocation volume.
Right. It's just another contributor, right? It felt very much like on that panel that it wasn't like this one silver bullet that was causing all this bad or all this sort of uncertainty, but there was a lot of stuff stacking up to where normally you just don't have to deal with it, or normally it would be the only thing maybe that you had to deal with. But when it's one of 15 other things, that with high interest rates, with some uncertainty, with tariffs or whatever, all of those things add up to just everybody wanting to just take a breath and pause before they do relocations, because maybe they were going to hire this person, but they don't know how their business is going to do, or they don't know the impact the tariffs are going to have, or they don't know if they'll be able to hire that Japanese engineer or keep that Japanese engineer long term, because there's just uncertainty in those areas.
Now, the flip side of that, when I talk to global mobility professionals, and I was talking to someone in the oil and gas field recently, and they were telling me that because of some of all this immigration uncertainty and things that are happening, they were now having to shuffle their people around quite a bit. In fact, they had to send somebody back to Canada. They had to send some people back kind of short notice,
right?
Because of some things that were happening. So I think that's kind of creating a little bit of volume. And I do think, the emphasis on domestic manufacturing, it's going to be challenged, but there will be companies that are building more manufacturing centers here in the States. The challenge when you make a capital investment like that is you need to know that this is a long-term thing, and not just like a willy-nilly headline.
It's going to be different.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to build a plant that I'm going to depreciate over, the real estate I'm going to depreciate for 25 years, the equipment I'm going to depreciate for 7, and I need to make sure that this is a long-term policy and not just 1 week or 1 year or 3 and a half
tomorrow
year.
A deal gets made that it's, it's no longer.
Oh, we're just kidding.
Right.
Because, this is the third time I think they've announced Canadian, tariffs.
It's like kind of that's what the point they were making in that on that panel was, it's not necessarily like tariffs are bad. It's the uncertainty around, like, is this really the tariff, or is it going to go away in 2 weeks? That uncertainty is what's causing people to kind of pause, because they don't want to make a move at the wrong time. Like, it feels like things are switching so quickly that you just don't want to make a move and cost yourself money just because you didn't wait 1 month to make the exact same move. Yeah,
and I think, and here we are, and so I'm going to be kind of hypocritical. Here we are making content about this and stuff, and talking about it, and in some ways, giving people ideas, but in other ways, maybe worrying people more, right? I think sometimes you have to just say, okay, this is what I'm going to do, whether it's as a person or as a business. And I'm going to execute my life plan, or I'm going to execute my business strategy, and I can't get too wrapped up in the headlines every day. Yeah. And I'm just going to go and I'm just going to execute my strategy, and what's going to happen is what's going to happen. Otherwise, you can end up being, paralyzed, right, by the what's going to happen next thing.
For sure.
So I think some of that is what is the counsel I would give to business leaders and folks out there is like if you think the buying a house is the right move for your family right now, buy a house.
Yeah, I mean, do the things. I like what you just said, because it's prepare what you can prepare for, but you can't you can't gamble on the market. You can be like, well, I'm going to wait.
Time it.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can't just try to time everything. Like, oh, I'm going to, play roulette here with the interest rates and maybe they'll go down, maybe they'll go you can't do that. You have to prepare as best you can prepare and make the decision that's going to be right for you. And I think for businesses, especially, that's what we were talking about earlier, is positioning yourself. Look, if you position yourself and take care of your fundamentals, you make sure that you're providing really great service and taking care of those things that set you apart in the market. That stuff, it does matter, but ultimately, as long as you position yourself well, you're going to be ready for whatever does happen. And that's the important part. You can't try to game the system and play it for whatever's going on this week. You've got to play a longer game than that. Yeah. And so it's a lot buy the house and date the mortgage.
That's it. And really it's about time in the market, time in the house, building equity is what I've learned, other than timing it.
Right.
So I want to switch gears on you here. And speaking of buying a house, I'll tell you, when I bought my house, this is a quick little plug here. When I bought my house in Texas last August, my first call was to Move Concierge, to Jeff and your team, who were fantastic, and helped me shop around for a electricity provider, utilities, all the things, even a home security system, which my wife is a big fan of. So tell people a little bit about Move Concierge in case they're not familiar with you guys.
Sure. So basically, Move Concierge, we work with anybody in the real estate market who's helping somebody move. So we work with a lot of RMCs, relocation companies, movers, and we become an extension of your team to help all of your consumers get their stuff set up when they're moving in. So just like when Ben was moving, this would be we would be Ben's concierge to help find him whatever he needs when he's moving into the new house, whether it's electric or internet or home security or TV or a mover or whatever it is. That's what Move Concierge does. And we become an extension of your team and the service that you provide, so that this is something that's part of your service offering. It's part of your, if you're relocating somebody, it's a part of what you do when you're relocating is you provide a concierge that takes care of their stuff to help them get moved in. And so it's just meant to be a nice little service ad for someone who's moving to help them get all their stuff taken.
Yeah, we talk a lot in this, and thank you for that. We talk a lot in this business about white glove service and providing white glove service to our corporate transferees. But a lot of times we provide a service, but it falls, in my opinion, a little bit short of that concierge service. And this is, in my opinion, one of the few services that I've seen that are truly like a concierge, because my experience was, I was like, hey man, I'm moving, and you connected me to someone right away that was based here in the Dallas area, who it was super easy to talk to. I've worked in call centers and customer service. That's how I started my career. And one of my biggest pet peeves is talking to somebody and them not getting to the point.
Yeah.
And you don't need to reiterate everything I said. You don't need to paraphrase it, show empathy. I got all that, dude. Just what are my electricity options?
Right.
What are my cable options? What are my home security options? What are and I really want to be. I've got a lot of calls. I want to be off this call, and I looked at I was off the call in 7.5 minutes, and I was able to get my electricity done, my cable and internet done, and I had an appointment set up for a home security. And I'm like, that's really efficient.
Yeah,
I really love the efficiency of it.
Well, I mean, and that's the idea is that no one likes doing this stuff. They don't want to wait on hold with an internet company or be worried about trying to schedule all of their different services and coordinate all that stuff. And so that's what we do is we just do it for you. Yeah. And it's just meant to be one quick call. We take care of everything. And also, if anything changed, like if your closing would have got pushed back or something, you could have just texted your concierge and said, oh, I'm moving in Friday instead of Wednesday. And we would have moved all of your installations for you so that you didn't have to call and wait on hold.
So nothing falls through the cracks and the Spectrum internet guys at the door like, hey, man, I'm here to connect.
Right. And that's, you haven't even closed on the house yet.
Yeah.
You know?
I like that a lot. And I compare that to, I didn't even know how good it was until I had to, because this is the second time I used you guys, until I had to shut off the electricity at my old place. And I had to call and do that.
Yeah.
And going through the IVR, waiting until you talk to somebody. The people that worked then, now they were local, but they were not very attentive.
Yeah. Well, they're not there for you. They're there for the electric company. You know? That's one of the things. Our concierge is a real live human, and they're your concierge. It's not like you're getting 5 different people. If you work with Jeff and Jeff's your concierge, that's it. And you can always text Jeff, and Jeff's there to help you.
They were texting me. They were texting me and my wife. Because sometimes I'd be like, hey, I don't know. I'm not at home right now. I'll talk to my wife. Here's her number. And she would text my wife. I'm like, I love it. Because if I call my wife, I'm like, hey, can you just call? She's like, I'm not calling.
Right.
My wife hates calling people.
Yeah.
Hates calling people. But then it's like, somebody texts her like, hey, I'm, your concierge. So it was really good. Yeah.
I mean, like it's a lot of times when I'm talking to potential partners, there's a lot I can say about, how valuable it is. But I mean, it's a simple service. It's just a real live human who's there to help you when you're moving in to get all your stuff set up. And we're specialized and we only do that. We only help you get your home services set up. And because of that, it is really simple. It is like we're taking something that's probably, it's a real annoyance in your brain. You're like, oh man, I don't want to do this internet thing. I don't want to do this home security thing. I don't want to do this electricity thing. And we take care of it for you in 5-10 minutes. And it's just nice to have that done and checked off your list. You don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah. So you mentioned you work with RMCs, with movers. How do you partner with them? How do you partner with an RMC, for instance?
Yeah. So, I mean, it starts out with, hopefully we meet and maybe you see me on a show like this and you can reach out to me or whatever. But it starts with just sort of figuring out what your process looks like already. Like, what are you doing? And when is the right time for maybe a service? Is there a place for a service like ours to kind of fit into your process? And once we figure that out, we figure out the operational way of, how do we automate this so that it's not adding work onto your, anybody, your consultants or whoever. It's not adding any work onto them. They're just doing what they already do. And when the time is right, so around 3 weeks before the move-in, the information would automatically get sent to us, and it would automatically get assigned a concierge, and we could just call. And
you say automatic. Do you guys do like APIs and stuff too?
Yeah, APIs will integrate with whatever you're using. We'll find a way to make it to where it's built in to your process. Because like I said, it's meant to be like we're an extension of your team. We're an extension of the service that you provide. We're not ever going to be talking up, Move Concierge on these calls. When we call, we're going to say, hey, this is Jeff. I work with Ben over at Glomo, and he provides a complimentary concierge to help you get all your stuff set up. And so that's what I'm calling about. So we're always talking up whoever the partner is to make sure that your client knows that this is something they're getting because they work with you.
Right.
And it's just a part of your process, so that automatically every single one of your clients gets this concierge that takes care of all their stuff, and it's now a part of your service that you provide.
So how much does this cost for the transferee?
It is free for the transferee. It's free for the company, the RMC or the mover, the partner that we work with. The way we make our money is from the vendor that they'd end up getting signed up with. So your electric company that you got signed up with, they gave us a little spiff for capturing a client for them.
So they don't have to employ salespeople. You're their salespeople.
Exactly. And we're kind of similar to maybe like an insurance broker in that we shop all of the different services. It doesn't really matter to us which electric company you go with or which internet company you go with. We're partnered with all of them. And whichever one you end up partnering with, we get, some money for capturing clients.
Yeah. When I remember talking, you guys had like 20 plus electricity providers. So for people who don't know, Texas has deregulated electricity, which is happening in more and more states, and we've had it here for 10 years probably. But it means you can choose your provider, and the prices actually vary quite a bit. What happened to me the first time I used you guys is actually my old house.
I don't know what you were doing.
I wasn't doing anything. And shout out to Cheethan over there. What's up, Cheethan Kumar? Hit that like button, get in the comments here. I want to know your thoughts on this. But I then moved in. I picked a provider. You know, it was before I knew you, right? I picked a provider, Frontier or something. I don't remember. They all these generic names. And I picked a provider, and it was like, you know, I don't know what it was, like 12.9 cents per kilowatt hour or something, if that even makes sense. And like la-di-da, life goes on, right? And then like it's June or something, and I get a bill for, I think it was like $800. And my wife is like, you know, why $800? Like, I know we keep it cool in here, but like $800.
That's insane.
You know, for an electricity bill. And I was like, dang, like that is a lot of money, you know. But I didn't want to deal with it, but it had to be dealt with. Like, it was enough money where I'm like, this needs to be addressed. I don't want to address it. I don't know what to do. But and I remembered I had met you guys, and I'm like, Jeff, do you think you could like take a look at this for me?
Well,
Like,
I couldn't believe we were paying $800, and I was like, we got to be able to do something. I mean, dang, even.
And I wasn't even moving, but I just like, and you put me in touch with a dude in your office. He called me right away. I was between meetings. I remember like taking the call in the hallway, and I was like, hey man, I don't mean to be rude, but like, I really don't have a lot of time. Here's my situation. And he was like on it. And he switched me over to another provider, and it literally cut my bill in half. It went from $800 to $400 the next month. So what was that, like July or August or something? It went to $400. And I'm just like, yo, that was incredible.
Yeah. Well, and that's, you know, that's another part of what we're doing is we're price shopping services. So it's not just taking some of the stress off of, you know, having to wait on hold to get your stuff scheduled. It's also making sure you're getting the best deal.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, you know, you might get a discount on your internet if you also use the same mobile provider like AT&T.
Okay.
And we're going to make sure that you get that discount. Or because we deal with so many consumers, we may have access to some promotions where you don't have to pay a setup fee, or you get the first 3 months for free or something like that the consumer might not have access to. And so it's not just making your life easy because operationally a consumer just doesn't want to do this stuff, but it's also saving them money because we're going to make sure that they get the best deal and they're not paying $800 a month, which, I mean, I don't know.
So I think what had happened was my 12-month or 18-month term had expired, and I went to market rate plus or whatever. I went to like a penalty rate or something.
Right.
Like, you're not paying attention, gonna get your rate.
Right.
And it went from like 12.9 to like 23 or something. And so okay. So my question is, and so I'm being selfish here for a second now, but my question is, so you guys switched me over. You know, now I moved. I got a new electric situation. These things tend to run in 12-month or 18-month intervals, right?
Yeah.
How, like, are you guys gonna like proactively like search again for me, or do I need to like set a reminder, or how does that work?
We're not going to proactively do it, and there's two reasons why we won't. One thing that we can't do, that the service providers won't allow us to do, is disconnect your service. So think of your internet company, right? Like if you had AT&T internet, but Cox has a better deal or something. We could hook up your Cox. We could get your new internet set up, but we can't disconnect your old internet. And so you're going to have to call AT&T and go through that, terrible process of getting that turned off. And a lot of times for internet, we may only be saving like whatever, $5, $10 a month. It's not going to be the $400 a month that we're saving for something like internet. And so that keeps us from being as valuable when you're just switching something out. Like your situation where you're paying that much for electric, yeah, totally makes sense for us to reshop that. But for most of the other services, because we can't do the disconnection, like it's not really going to be worth it for the consumer. They're like, I'm saving $10, but I don't want to call and wait on hold to get my internet disconnected, and we can't do that part.
But you can still shop it for me though. Like when my term's up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. You want us to check on your internet or your electric rates? We're happy to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta make a note of that. Check on my rates.
Well, and shout out to one of our partners, our electric partners here in Texas, Evergreen.
Mm-hmm.
They actually have they basically reshop your rates for you at the end of your term to try to make sure that you're getting the best deal. Like there's a lot of unique providers in Texas because there are so many. They have to find a competitive edge, and Evergreen charges like a small surcharge on top of your internet or your electric bill every single month. But at the end of your term, they try to reshop your internet or your electric again for you to make sure that you're getting the best deal. And that's why you're paying them that $10 a month, is so that whenever your term comes up, they make sure that you get the best rate for the new internet or the new electric. Again.
So is there a way to, when you partner with RMCs, do you have deals where also they can make money from this service? I mean, because they make money from other services that they provide. Sure. I mean, that's their job. They're in the managed relocation, industry.
Yeah.
So do you have partnership agreements like that?
We absolutely do. And, selfishly, of course, I've drank the Kool-Aid, but this is one of the things though that I think that businesses can do to position themselves well for this demand that's about to pop, and help them make it through a period of time where they might need to be tightening their belt. Is, look, we're a service that adds value to all of your clients. There's no reason your client would not want to use our service. It's free for them. It saves them time. It saves them money. That nobody wants to do this stuff. Makes you look good as a business. So it's a great service offering to your client. Also, it makes you money. And so it helps. It's not going to fill the hole entirely, but it helps fill the hole. It helps kind of hedge against that. And, it's going to help you make it through this time and set you up for success when all the demand does start to come in. So we absolutely have revenue share agreements to where when we make money, we want you to make money. And, we want to be a part of your team. We want this to be just a no-brainer that it's good for your clients. It's good for you as a company. And so we have a lot of agreements like that.
Awesome. And if you want Jeff's phone number, I will give it to you. So hit me up and I will send it to you. And he answers this text very well. I can attest to that. Hey, let's have a little fun though, huh? Jeff, what do you say?
Let's do it.
You're a New Orleans guy, here in Texas, right? Let's have a little fun, right? There we go. I'm getting serious now. We're going to play a game called Overrated, Underrated. Do you know how to play the game, Jeff?
Why don't you explain it to me? Do I just say whether a thing is overrated or underrated?
If it were only that simple. I'm going to give you a topic, and you are going to let me know if it is either overrated or underrated. And then, because it's my show, I'll let you know if you're right.
Oh, okay.
All right.
What is there like extra bonus points if I convince you that you were wrong and that I was?
Same amount of points.
Okay.
But you do get to defend your position.
Okay, good.
All right.
That's all I want.
Yep. Let's get after it. Sammy, first one up. Overrated, underrated. The iPhone. Oof.
The iPhone is so overrated.
Wow.
Overrated. I mean, I feel like people look. I get it. Back in the day, the iPhone was like superior. There wasn't anything like it. It was magic when the first iPhone
was magic. Was that like 08 or something?
Right. And when you got that first iPhone, it was 08. I had the first iPhone. I had the first two iPhones. So I'm not just saying this from, like a hater. But now there's other phones that are also magic. And I feel like a lot of people, they just stuck with what they knew. And that was the only magic that they ever knew, ever.
Yeah.
Look, there's other options out there, and you guys are ignoring so many bugs.
All right, talk to me about. I'm an iPhone loyalist.
Mm-hmm.
I won't call it a magic ignorer, but I will say an iPhone loyalist. What's better than the iPhone? What should I be?
I'm going to give you a couple examples of why you should be so mad at Apple.
Okay.
So the blue text, green text thing.
Yeah.
You realize that that's Apple making your life worse.
They're
right?
gatekeeping.
Right. They absolutely could give you such a better feature if they just wanted to.
Okay.
But they're making your life worse so that you have to stick with Apple. Everybody should be so mad about that.
Okay.
Also, my wife has an Apple, but she has a Windows computer. And if you have an Apple and an Apple computer, you can text and you can do everything from your Mac. You can send out text from your Mac. No problem.
Yeah.
But if you have a Windows computer, you can't. I have an Android. I can send out text from my computer no matter what I'm using. So Apple's literally just keeping features from you so that you buy all their other products and you just stick in their family.
I do hate the Mac. I do hate the Mac computer. I find it very hard. As easy as iPhones are for me to navigate and operate, I find Macs to be like that hard.
Mm-hmm.
When I've had Androids in the past, they've usually been like work phones, and it's usually good. Frankly, it's been a while. They were not as intuitive for me personally, but maybe I just have to speak different lingo.
Well, and look, I get that. I'm not going to disrespect anybody who likes using an iPhone and it's just what they're used to, and that's why they use it. But what I do get mad about is when those people are like, "Oh, it's better in every way than an Android." Like, no. But you're used to it. That's one thing, but it's not objectively better. It's just what you're used to.
Yeah. Get in the comments here. What are your thoughts? Jillian says, having your iPhone and computer connected is so helpful. I love having a Mac for that reason. Jillian, I can totally sympathize with you. But one thing that I have that you and Jeff don't have are kids. And I do not need my text messages syncing with my iPad. Thank you very much. Okay? All right, Steve Jobs, thank you so much. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Is there one feature though that the Android can do better than the iPhone?
Here's another thing is that a lot of times Apple...
I'm hearing a lot of iPhone hate. I'm about anti-iPhone.
Well, Apple will release these features that Android's had for ever. Yeah. And then it's just like Apple is like, oh, it's revolutionary. It's like, I've had this for 10 years. So one of the things that they just released that's going to come out in the next iPhone update is the ability to have your phone ring you after it's, like if you're on hold, you can just say, okay, I don't want to be on hold. And it will, when the person actually comes on the line, it will re-ring your phone. So you just set your phone down. It'll call you when that person actually picks up the phone, so you're not waiting on hold. Android has had that for literally 10 years.
Wow.
They've also had the feature where you get a lot of spam calls, right?
Yes.
Anytime you get a call from somebody that you don't recognize, Google can answer that call and say, hey, can you tell us your name? And then before I would answer my phone, I could see who it was that's calling me. So it keeps me from answering spam calls. iPhone just released that feature. They're going to announce it, or that's going to come out in the next version of iOS. So these features have been around forever.
Okay.
And there's those are two examples, but we could just sit here all day where I can tell you all these little things. And when it comes out on iPhone, everybody who has an iPhone is like, wow, that's so useful. I love my iPhone for that. It's like, that's been around forever.
All right,
you didn't have to have an iPhone.
I'm going to give you a point under duress. I don't want to agree with you here, but you're making a heck of a point. I don't think I'm going to abandon my iPhone anytime soon, but you make some good points.
It's the first step.
What I like? I like that folding screen one.
That is,
that's something.
I mean, there's nothing more satisfying than hanging up a folding phone.
Yeah,
that's everybody wants that, and so my wife is iPhone, like you, all the way, and the folding phones are really catching her eye lately. She's like, man, I missed that. I missed
snap. Hang up when you Jeff.
That's
Get off my phone.
When you're mad at somebody, or when you're
slam down the phone,
when you want to answer a call and you can flip it out. So cool, So I really do think
that is cool.
Apple's probably going to come out with a folding phone here pretty soon for that exact reason.
We'll see. I'm sorry, I have potential spam. Sorry. All right. All right. Next one up. You get a point for that one. All right. Next one up. Overrated, underrated hiking.
Oh my gosh. This is so overrated. If anybody right now, if you have your iPhone or your Android, whichever, if you just Google hiking and it's going to bring you to a dictionary, it's going to tell you the synonyms for hiking. the first synonym that shows up is trudge. To trudge.
To trudge.
That is a universally negative thing. If you're trudging somewhere, that's not good. That's not good. And so hiking.
It's a hike. It's far away. It's a hike.
It's a hike. And look, I understand being out in nature, but I mean, let's not treat it like it's, I don't know.
I'm going a step further. People that say they like to hike are the most pretentious people in the world.
It's like, oh, you like to...
Oh, what do you like to... I like hiking.
Right. Like, what even is...
Like, I like to walk unnecessarily.
Right. I mean...
Semi-dangerous places.
And also, I feel like hiking really is just dependent... I don't even know how to define hiking correctly, because if you're just walking...
Yeah.
That's what hiking is. You're just walking.
Yeah, what's the difference between a walk and a hike?
I think it's like where you are, where you're walking.
Sam,
so if you're in the mountain, you're walking around the mountain, you're hiking. If you're in the desert walking around, you're like miserable. Yeah. You know, like nobody says, oh, that's a hike. I'm trudging.
Yeah. We need to know what the difference between hiking and hiking is definitely overrated. And listen, I'm jaded just because I can't do it. Okay. Yeah. I'm jaded. All right. If I'm hiking, that's called lost. Mm-hmm. There's a synonym for you. Jack Taylor says hiking is great to disconnect and touch grass. Bro, I can go touch grass on my way to the car.
Also, if you want to be in nature, motorcycles. You should get a motorcycle, because I used to live in Utah, and great hiking. But you know what's even better than walking around is driving your motorcycle around in the mountains. Oh,
I totally feel that. I'm a little safer than you. I'll take a golf cart.
That works.
But you know, I dig it. The wind right. Sammy, what is the difference between walking and hiking?
Well, there's a few different criteria. Number one being location. Walks are usually on flat surfaces or like paved sidewalks. Hikes are typically nature related. Uneven terrain, forests, mountains, etc.
Harder walks. Yes, walks on hard.
The next criteria is difficulty. Walks are easier. Hikes involve a lot more effort, usually elevation gains, things like that. In all, if you're in nature and on a trail, you're probably hiking. If you're on a sidewalk or street, you're probably walking.
Does it say anything about how pretentious people are when they hike?
No.
Yeah, you have to be
like they could walk at a certain level of pretense.
I bet that actually should be. That's a hidden criteria. You have to be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
Or else it's a walk. Yeah. If you're walking,
if you weren't proud of it, you just
walked. It was just a walk then. Yeah. But if you were proud of yourself, then you were hiking.
Yeah. You know what? I'll tell all these people out there: take a hike. All right. Next one up: overrated, underrated. Waffle House.
Oh my gosh, underrated.
Really
so underrated.
Hey, we're taking dinner recommendations.
I mean,
be careful. End up smothered and covered.
If I were on death row and they were asking me what my last meal was going to be, it would be Waffle House. Waffle House hash browns are elite. You cannot get better hash browns anywhere on the planet. And look, I don't know. I'm a diner guy. I love a good diner atmosphere where you kind of have like it's bustling. There's a lot of stuff going on.
You need some bustle to it.
Right. It just, I don't know. It adds something to it for me. And if you think this is just a preference thing, if you've never watched the Anthony Bourdain, he goes to Waffle House and he does a review.
No, I haven't seen Anthony Bourdain at Waffle House.
He goes to Waffle House and does a review of Waffle House. And he is also surprised. He agrees, it blew his mind. Like, he thought it was some trashy restaurant, whatever.
What's the order at Waffle House? What's your order?
I get one of two things. I either get the all-star breakfast with extra hash browns, smothered and covered, or sometimes I'm a purist and I just get regular hash browns. Or I get the hash brown bowl with an extra side of hash browns. The hash browns are the thing, man. Even though the waffles are good, sure, but the hash browns are what you get.
Smothered and covered means what?
It's got cheese and mushrooms, things like that on it. But honestly, if you're a first timer for Waffle House, just go pure. Just get the pure buttery goodness of the hash browns, and it's
Man, I'm getting hungry. How do you take your eggs there at Waffle House?
Over medium usually. Depends though. If I get the hash brown bowl, I kind of want to mix around a little, so I'll do over easy.
Nice. Wow. Dude, again, man, I really wanted to hate this take. But the way you discovered it makes me want to read. Last time I had Waffle House was in College Park, Georgia, which is
a little rough.
It's the hood.
Yeah.
It's the hood. Yeah, Delta screwed me, and I was in College Park with basically a T-shirt, a $25 voucher, and ended up at the Waffle House.
Yeah.
It was either that or Spawn Divots, and I didn't have Spawn Divots kind of money. So yeah, it's been a minute. I'll revisit Waffle House.
Well, and look, you do Waffle Houses tend to be in they're everywhere, but you know, a lot of them tend to be in some rougher parts of the neighborhood. So I think that keeps a lot of people away. And you just got to commit to that's part of the experience. You know, like when you go to a hole in the wall place that you found, like that's part of the charm.
That is part of the charm.
Is that, you know, there's graffiti all over the walls or whatever, and it feels like a place that not everybody goes to. Yeah. Just treat Waffle House exactly the same way.
As a hole in the wall bar.
Yeah.
Hole in the wall diner. When did you fall in love with Waffle House?
Yeah. I think I really fell in love with it in college. They did a all-you-can-eat Waffle House, and that was very short-lived. They only did that for like 2 weeks because I was there like every day. Yeah. And they did all-you-could-eat, and it was like $7.95, and I was a poor college kid. And I don't know. I think there was an amount of comfort food. My grandma's like a Southern cook, and so it really reminded me of like her hash browns. Yeah. And also, I was just poor and needed to eat a lot of food. Yeah. And they fed me for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Did you ever see that clip? There's a clip going around about this college that's recruiting their athletes, and like, so how you feel about Waffle House, and they would use that as the barometer for if they were going to be able to recruit this kid or not, because they had like 3 Waffle Houses in this tiny town.
That was
and this one guy was like, oh, I don't like Waffle House. They're like, don't even come for the trip.
Right.
Don't even come.
Yeah, you're not going to.
That's what we got.
That's our food option.
Yeah. Get in the comments if you like Waffle House. What is your order? I'm jury's out on that one. I'm not gonna give you a point on that one. I just you said you said underrated. Jeez.
Well, I mean, think about how how maybe bad people say it is, right? Like just use that as the barometer. It can't be that bad.
It can't be that bad,
right? I mean,
last time I went, I was disappointed. Well, and that's the definition of overrated, underrated.
Well, how were you disappointed? You had high expectations?
I wanted better. I remember that distinctly wanting better.
You were already in a bad mood.
I was in a bad mood.
Yeah,
honestly, I'm in a bad mood thinking about it. I'm hungry. Yeah. All right, let's keep it moving. I think you're going to get back on this next one. Overrated, underrated. Commander's Palace.
Oh, man.
It's the other end of the spectrum.
I mean, that actually presents a little bit of a challenge because it is so hyped.
It's so highly rated.
I mean? Like everybody,
it's the opposite. Of
everybody has such high expectations where it's like, how can you exceed that? Yeah. But I will say that it's probably still a little bit underrated. It's one of those things where you hear about it and you're like, oh, it's this thing that I've got to do, and you even come into it with high expectations. But when you go there, I don't know. There's just some magic that happens.
Exceeds expectations.
I actually just went there like a month ago, and one of the things that they do is they keep track when you've been there. It's like a Ritz-Carlton or a Four Seasons where they know if you've ever told that institution something about yourself, they keep track of it. And I had told them last time about how I heard that the more times that you come there, they kind of give you status. It's like a rewards program sort of thing to where they'll give you better seating. And John Goodman used to go there all the time, and he used to get seated in the kitchen, like right next to the chef. And they're like, that's a real thing. And I was like, well, I want that. Like, man, I want to sit next to it. And they're like, well, we'll see what we can do.
100 more visits.
Right. Well, I told them that the first time that we went there. I went back a couple months later, and they were like, sir, we've heard that you'd like to be in the kitchen. And they took me back. They're like, unfortunately, the seat next to the chef is taken, but we are going to see you in the kitchen. And they took me back and set me in the kitchen. So it's one of those things where even when you have these expectations, you're like, whoa, this place is so cool. They find a way to really, go above and beyond even what you were expecting. So there's some magic.
Incredible.
There's some magic there.
So I went to Commanders for the first time ever. I love New Orleans. I went to Commanders for the first time ever 3 months ago, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I was with my buddy, and we went, and I'd never been. You hear about it, and you're like, oh, it's probably past its prime. It's probably just one of those things that you do to say you did it, but it's probably not worth the trip because it's not down in the quarter. It's off the beaten path a little bit, in the Garden District or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, like you said, I went in with high expectations, and I was actually blown away.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. The turtle soup is what they're known for. We also tried their chef's menu that they did. It was fantastic.
Their desserts are great. Like just all the courses.
They invented the bananas Foster there too.
Oh, bananas Foster is so good. Also, Commander's Palace. If you're watching this, next time maybe elevate that.
In the kitchen, yeah,
that's right.
I definitely did not have status. They set me like up upstairs. It was a hike. All right, yeah, definitely underrated. All right, next one up, overrated, underrated. Zion Williamson.
Oh man, overrated so hard. I mean, I had season tickets to the Pelicans for a little while, and every time we went there, it's like, oh, Zion's not playing tonight. Zion's not playing tonight. Like he played like 1 out of every 3 games, and look, when he does play, he's like this. He's good. He's a good player, but I mean, if you're only playing 1 out of every 3 games, you're only good a third of the time. It's the maximum amount of good you can be is 1/3 good.
Yeah. If you win all your games, you're still not going to the playoffs.
Right. You're still no good. And he kind of got to this place where, I don't know, he got a reputation for not being a hard worker. So he's been, his trade value has even gone down. He hasn't played in all the games that he's supposed to. It activated a thing in his contract because he was missing so many workouts. Wow. Like they had the option basically to trade him without any kind of loss of benefits or something. I was reading in the local paper. So Zion Williamson, overrated. I wish he wasn't, because I'd love to go to more basketball games.
Maybe too much Waffle House?
Probably. He's, which in that case, I maybe understand a little better. But
too much Commanders, maybe.
That's right.
Yeah, I was really excited about Zion coming to the league. I love the big boys, and he was like the heaviest player in the NBA.
He's a monster.
He's a big boy, and he would jump out of the gym, and he would still have such crazy hops. It was wild, and but he's got to get his stuff figured out. Yeah, overrated for sure. Next one up, overrated, underrated. New Orleans.
Oh, man, I feel like this depends on who I'm talking to. Like,
well, you're talking to me, buddy.
If I'm talking to you, you've got it hyped so far up, man.
I'm crazy, dude.
Some people,
I don't have a tattoo, but if I got one, it might be of New Orleans.
I mean, some people have never been to New Orleans, and for those people, it is way, way underhyped. Like, if you haven't experienced, Mardi Gras as like a local, not in the French Quarter, like the actual Mardi Gras sort of festivals and parades and stuff. Oh my gosh, like it's a bucket list type stuff. You definitely need to go do it.
Yeah.
But for somebody who's been a couple of times, it's similar. I don't know. I want to say that it's similar to the iPhone, where like you get a little brainwash. You're just like, oh my gosh. You just, I don't know. The good things, you get so obsessed with the good things that you can't see some of the bad things. And it's because you're there as a tourist. I live there. And oh my gosh, our government is terrible.
Yeah, but your government was always terrible. That's part of the deal. Like,
no. I mean, it's gotten worse. That's what I'm
worse
saying.
Than Huey. What was it? Not Huey.
Our current mayor has traveled to we're in this deficit with this debt problem where our budget's out of control and we're trying to save all this money. And our mayor's out here flying to Paris and stuff. And the city council's like, you can't fly to Paris. We're trying to save money. And she's like, whatever. She just does it anyway. Yeah. And meanwhile, we used to have our trash picked up twice a month. And then they're like, no, we're just going to do it once a month because we got to save money.
Trash?
Sorry. Once every other week. And it still costs the same amount of money. So we're giving you way less service and we're not lowering the amount. My electric goes out all the time. So look. All I'm saying is there are some magical things about New Orleans. Yeah. But for people who just get a visit and that's all you see, for those people, it might be a little overhyped. But if you've never been there, oh yeah, you got to go because you'll be a Ben.
I love it. Well, I hear you, but I also think it's more like whiskey, where it's an acquired taste, right? Because the first time it might be a little too strong. Mm-hmm. It might be a little too. Whoa, this is a little crazy. It's loud. It's dangerous. It's, I might get a little out of control, maybe it smells a little bit, Yeah. But I think you got to get past that and you start to got to get that acquired taste to be like, I'm picking up, what is that, leather? What is that, sandalwood? I'm picking up, starting to pick up some undertones here. Some really, truly amazing. To me, New Orleans is my favorite city in the world.
There is something special about New Orleans. There is no other city like New Orleans. And I always tell people this story of why I moved there. We were looking at houses. This is right before the pandemic, went all over the place. And when we were, New Orleans was the last one. And we were sitting there, we're trying to decide which city we wanted to move to. And we saw this homeless guy rolling his cart down the street. And he had a cup in his hand and he was rolling it. And some other random guy was walking the other way and just poured part of his drink in the homeless guy's drink and just kept on walking like it was nothing. And there is this, it was such a small thing and nobody treated it like it was a big thing. But that's like part of what makes New Orleans special is there's this sense of community.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there was just something magic about that.
Like, I'll never go thirsty here, honey.
It was just a cool thing where he was just, and both of them, the other guy was just like, cheers. They just kept walking, no words were exchanged, just here's some of my drink, man. Yeah. And they just kept walking.
Is cool too about how New Orleans, everybody kind of hangs out together. Everybody parties together, and all these different, and that's, we talk about America being a melting pot, and I grew up near New York City too, right? And people say that all the time, but to me, the truest melting pot is New Orleans, with so many different nationalities, ethnicities, cultures, food cultures, languages. All of it really does come together in this gumbo down there. That's just unlike anything I've ever seen before.
It's magic. There's no city out there like it. You got these European like architecture, but it's a very, very American, city. But it's I don't know. It's just magic. There's literally there's no other city like it.
I'll say another thing about it. I love the music. It's hard to find great live music. Great live music is really kind of dying in this country, especially blues music and jazz to some degree, blues music. And you can find it in New Orleans. The other thing I would say is I eat a lot of things, as it's not obvious. And every time I go to New Orleans, I try something I've never had before. And I can still find things that I've never had. Oh, yeah. And for me, that's really cool to be able to still discover things at my advanced age,
Well, and I mean, I've lived there for a while now, and there's just so many restaurants. Like per capita, it must have the most restaurants of like any city in the world.
Second most next to Addison here in Dallas. Yeah, it's just one strip of restaurants. Right. That's the town.
Well, I mean even for somebody who lives there, there's always something new popping up. There's all these institutions like Commander's Palace, but there's new institutions that are like popping up everywhere.
You ever been to Toop's Meadery?
Yeah. Toop's a couple of
times. Toop's is sick, dude. Toop's is sick. And the charcuterie board over Toop's, unreal. Anyway, we got to go to dinner, y'all. This is, definitely a point for New Orleans. New Orleans is underrated. Best city in the United States, hands down. And I think it's a bad rap for the all the things.
The crime.
The smelliness, the this and the that's. But it's like, no, that's just that little gras doux on the bottom of the pot, makes the gumbo taste good.
Sure.
Thanks, y'all. Appreciate y'all being here with us. Hit that like button, get in the comments, let us know what you think. And Jeff, this has been really a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Take care, everybody. We will see you next week.